And now, celebrating 13 years on the air, this is the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime with David Hero, Frank Cosentino, Linda Kay, the man they call Meathead, and Damian Nelson. All the latest from World Wrestling Entertainment, total nonstop action wrestling, and more. This is the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time. Damian Nelson here with David Hero. David Hero, we're using the whiteboard all week. It's a special Be the Booker edition of the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time. Lots of stuff to talk about, especially this Sunday night's Royal Rumble. We're going to go to the social media center with Frank and Linda and get your comments from this past week as well. But first, Dave, what I want to talk about...
Wait. I got heat with Frank. That jacket had to go to the dry cleaners. I don't know what he did. It was quite the mess.
And that's fur.
Yeah. You know how expensive it is to get cleaned? It's ridiculous. Last time I did him a favor. Thanks, pal.
WWE WrestleMania surrounded by the glamour that is the Hall of Fame. And we know of one name that's been announced so far, that being the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Oh, I think at WrestleMania. We're going to be there.
Indeed, we will be there in a suite with many of you. More on that later. Hall of Fame, we're going to pick David Hero. If we had the choice, the three names that we would add to Shawn Michaels to be inducted into the 2011 class of the WWE Hall of Fame, and I think we might agree on at least one of them. And that one is a man who should have been one of the first into the Hall of Fame, the man who is one of the longest reigning and most substantial WWE champions of all time, a man who's very bitter at WWE and the business in general, Bruno Sammartino.
You know what? Good call. I actually don't have Bruno on my list. I just forgot about him. But, yeah, good call on that, amigo.
Bruno Sammartino, champion in WWE from 63 to 72 or something like that. It was a very long time. I forget the years exactly. Frank might remember. He's the resident historian. But he really was the building block of WWE, the WWF at the time. He was the man that was selling out Madison Square Garden for Vince McMahon Sr. each and every week.
And that's when they had the ethnic superstars. You had Bruno Sammartino, Pedro Morales, Ivan Koloff. Mm-hmm. Gorilla Monsoon.
Ernie Ladd.
Ernie the Big Cat Ladd.
It's a shame that, and keep in mind as we go through this list, we don't want to hear who won't, who can't, what'll never happen. This is politics aside.
Correct.
This is if this was a legit, 100% legit Hall of Fame.
Whoa, it's a legit Hall of Fame.
It is a legit Hall of Fame.
It's their decision if they want to go or not.
That is true. Very good point. Bruno Sammartino has absolutely no interest in being inducted into this Hall of Fame.
Because they've asked him several times. He keeps saying no.
And he's so, and many of you may remember Bruno because he did commentary on, I believe, Superstars for a great number of years in WWE as well. And, it's just a shame that the man who really built the company, more so than Hulk Hogan ever did. Hulk Hogan took it to the next level. Hulk Hogan took it to the next level. Hulk Hogan brought in the era of rock and wrestling.
He took it to the absolute extreme next level.
There would have been less of WWF if not for Bruno Sammartino in the 60s, 70s, and 60s and 70s.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Bruno Sammartino, the first of people who I would automatically induct into the Hall of Fame at the first opportunity. David Hero.
Well,
I would not induct you, by the way.
Because I'm already in the Hall of Fame. It doesn't make a difference.
You allege that you are.
For me, if I had to pick my number one guy to go in the Hall of Fame, it's the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Really?
Oh my God, absolutely.
Oh, yeah!
Mega Powers, WrestleMania.
Mega Powers exploded right here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on the main event.
If there was no Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage was the guy.
Distantly, but yes.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of Hogan in the wrestling in the late 80s, early 90s, you think Hogan and Savage.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Macho Man Randy Savage sold a lot of merchandise.
Got those glasses especially. How do you ever see out of those things? Oh, yes. When you look back on the Macho Man's commentary years leading up through 94 or whatever before he went to WCW, you want to talk about obnoxious.
Oh, wow. Yeah, over the top.
Wow.
But it's because he could.
Right, and it was expected of him. It's a shame that Randy is not yet in. However, I wouldn't venture to say that that would happen on a year like this where Shawn Michaels is already going in. Randy Savage is a headliner. Hall of Fame headliner.
But he could go in this year.
Absolutely.
Why not?
And I don't believe
Let's not forget WrestleMania 21. You had Hogan, Piper,
True.
Sheik, Volkov,
True.
Bob Orton, Paul Orndorff.
And they all sat back there giving Hogan the evil eye.
Oh yeah, because he was in far better shape than all those guys were, and still making money.
Randy Savage, I don't believe there's any ill will between him and WWE right now.
What?
Right now.
Oh, right now. I mean, there's still a little bit of a stinger out there, you know.
Is that what you call it?
Well, that's what got him in trouble.
Number 2 on my list of inductees that if we were doing it would be into the WWE Hall of Fame is another man who was, I think, one of the foundations for World Wrestling Entertainment before Hogan and Rock and Wrestling. And he was the man who Hogan actually was the go-between for the championship between the Iron Sheik and Hulk Hogan, Bob Backlund. Bob Backlund, a tremendous wrestler, a very smart man, even though he would have you believe he's not. And a man who was, again, a champion for a very long time with Arnold Skaaland behind him. A man who he inducted into the Hall of Fame, I believe, did Bob Backlund. But it's a shame that Mr. Backlund is not in the Hall of Fame. I'm going to throw Backlund up there. You don't like that one?
No, he just, both your 2 picks definitely deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Without a shadow of a doubt. Actually, I'm surprised Backlund's not in there yet.
Yeah. I actually had to double check, triple check, because it seemed like it was a given that he'd be in, because he's still in good favors with WWE. I mean, he
think
worked
so,
with
yeah.
them for a very long time, including up through the late 90s.
Mm-hmm. For me, my next pick, our good close personal friend, the headliner from WrestleMania 2, King Kong Bundy. When he was there, WrestleMania 1, 2, and 3,
Mm-hmm.
big star.
Absolutely.
Did big things those 3 years. You know, great feuds with Hulk Hogan.
At a time when it was only him and Hulk Hogan that were doing things such as appearing on television shows and doing other mainstream media things.
Now, unfortunately, this will never happen because I know King Kong Bundy will decline his invitation to the Hall of Fame.
Really?
Yes.
Under any circumstance.
Pretty much. Which is a shame because he,
Reasoning. Been too long.
Coco
Feels
Beware
a little
goes in
slighted.
before him.
We should actually do a list of those who shouldn't be in. Actually, it'd be one long. 2 long. Pete Rose and Coco Beware. Pete
And
Rose, who appeared at 3
Refrigerator Perry.
WrestleManias, one dressed as Pete Rose.
Refrigerator Perry. He's in there.
But that was a substantial WrestleMania. WrestleMania 2, the Chicago tie-in.
Oh, okay.
He's a sports guy.
I forgot you're a Chicago guy. That's right. How'd they do on Sunday?
Bears lost.
Absolutely. Why don't you go to number 3, champ?
This one could be a bit controversial because, again, we're taking politics out of it and contractual status out of it and company they currently work for out of it. And I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say the man who we've talked about for a very long time who should be facing The Undertaker at WrestleMania if The Undertaker is healthy enough to do so in his contract with TNA is not renewed. It's a man called Sting, David Hero.
Okay.
Sting is... his presence in WCW in the 90s was, I think, as significant as a Ric Flair, as significant as a Dusty Rhodes, as significant as a Lex Luger, because he was right in the mix with all of them during all of that.
He was actually bigger. He was the biggest star WCW had.
Before Hogan, he was the face of WCW
Absolutely.
for many, many years, and the NWA, by the way. Sting, a man called Sting, I think deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and politics, contracts aside, it makes a lot of sense for Sting to be recognized for his contributions over his life during professional wrestling.
And for me, I'm going to go with his tag team partner, Blade Runner Rock,
Yes!
affectionately known as the Ultimate Warrior.
And legally known as...
Warrior. Whoa, are we going to lose the board here? I mean, he may not have had the greatest wrestling matches,
He had a
the
substantial one.
longest career, but the matches he had, beating Andre the Giant, beating Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 6, you know, he wasn't the most popular guy in the locker room, but he sold a lot of
Is
tickets.
that a bit of an understatement there?
Well, but he sold a lot of tickets, made a lot of money for the company, definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. They're just afraid of giving this guy a live mic, is what it comes down to.
As well they should be.
Can you imagine Warrior and Savage inducted the same year? I mean, Tillman
I'm looking at this
with
list,
Shane
actually,
Helms.
and if you look at this list, if we just put 2012
12?
up there,
Of course.
look at this class. And we're not saying it's going to happen, by the way, but look at this class.
Look, it's EPO.
Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund, Sting, Randy Savage, King Kong Bundy, Ultimate Warrior. Only one on that list, not a former world champion, by the way.
Former GLCW world champion.
True.
Better correct that, champ.
True. But what a
If it
class.
makes even more, he should be in the Hall of Fame.
What a class. I don't think it'll ever happen. What the most likely inductees on this list are Savage, Backlund, and Sting.
More than likely.
And that's my problem inherently with the WWE Hall of Fame. There's too many politics surrounding it. You got the Cauliflower Alley Club, April 16 through 18, I believe, this year out in Las Vegas. They have a Hall of Fame as well. There's none of that politic crap involved with that, well, less of it anyways, and you see inductions happen there, but not the hoopla. And it is truly, I mean, you've spoken to a lot of these inductees, as have we, most recently me, the Iron Sheik. It means a lot to them to get that call and to go into the Hall of Fame.
And they're proud to show you that ring also.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're not diminishing the impact of WWE's Hall of Fame. As a matter of fact, it's a great thing, probably one of the best things they do. But at the same time, you look at this list of people who aren't in
They
it.
do it for one main reason.
Money.
That's to sell tickets the night before WrestleMania.
But it didn't start off that way, because they were doing it in hotel ballrooms
Right.
back in the 90s when they started the annual Hall of Fame. It's a shame these guys aren't in it already.
Right. Well, these three guys are here. It's all politics. Absolutely.
Well, it's time for a little Linda and Frank over the social media center.
Linda Kay and Frank
I
Cos.
understand they got some new props.
You know what? They're both on Twitter also, by the way.
At Frank_Cos.
Yes, and Linda K22.
At.
At the,
I mean, you're always correcting me to include the at because it's.
I don't correct myself.
Let's go to the social media center, and then after that, it's a little BTB. Be the
You
booker.
know me?
Gentlemen, thank you. Welcome to the Social Media Center. Along with the lovely Linda, I'm the Cause. This week, lots of Facebooks and tweets and stuff. We have to break it down a little bit because of time. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, but I'm noticing something missing on you this week. It's the furry jacket, the M&M jacket.
The jacket. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Before, that sound is familiar. It's time to read some emails and tweets and such. Let's head to it. An email from Grant, and I quote, "Here's the thing. Being vile to someone online is just being vile. Doesn't matter if you are some teenage kid throwing out abuse on Twitter, thinking you're a big man or a grown man that used to work with HBK. Ironic that Helms used to portray a superhero." The both of them have been going back and forth the last couple of weeks, Linda. It's, I don't know if there's an end to it, but we may hear it soon.
Yes, we will get the answers this Monday night from what I hear.
That's right, 10 p.m. Central, 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com. Mr. Helms himself will have his version of this story and at least get his side, and we'll see what he has to say about that.
Absolutely. And speaking of Monday's radio show, you too can participate live via Twitter at PWR Show on Twitter.
Let's go to YouTube, as I hear another. And I quote, "I am beyond tired of hearing people say The Miz won't be champion into WrestleMania because they don't see it. As if there was never a semi-week WrestleMania event from the outset that later proved to be solid. If the WWE ran only by what they think their fans see happening, there would be no Nexus, no DX, no nothing. Instead, to make things worse by not think what we want, look at Miz 2 years ago. Did you see him being a future champion? No. So what does that say for what you can see? The WWE wants to move their stars, their young stars, and push them up. This is the Miz. This is his time. He will be, in my opinion, champion at WrestleMania. At least fighting as champion.
So you're saying he's going to maintain
He will
the belt
maintain
in the Rumble, next pay-per-view, and then WrestleMania. All right.
Yeah.
I must agree with you on that one. So carry that belt into WrestleMania and
We'll see what happens. Head over to pwrshow.com right now, after us. Tremendous shirts. Thanks, pal shirts. DHHS shirts. All of that. You can wear them at
WrestleMania.
Yes.
Speaking of WrestleMania, make sure to become a fan of us on Facebook and through the PWR page. You will see a link, a sweet and sexy package for WrestleMania where you can hang out with all of us at PWR at WrestleMania 27. Now, let's take it back over to the gentleman. You got to be the
Absolutely.
booker, right?
You got it.
Well, David, it is Be the Booker. And it is
Mark,
probably the biggest, it's the largest Be the Booker of all time as we talk about the WWE Royal Rumble coming to pay-per-view this Sunday night. 3 big championship matchups and, of course, the Royal Rumble match itself. We're going to start, ladies and gentlemen, by talking about those championship matchups. David Hero, you're going to outline this show the way you would book it as a both booker and promoter. And where's the scarf?
Do we need the scarf for this?
Well, you had it on earlier. Why did you take it
well, I
off?
took it off because I don't want people to think I want to give anything away.
Oh, but did you just? And I will simply give it to you from a fan's perspective as to what I would
From
like
Mark's
to see.
point of view?
Are you calling me a mark?
Not at all. I'm just.
I'd rather be a smark.
No, I don't want to be a smark.
No? Is that worse?
Hey, look at that.
Well, let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. The time is a-ticking because we may need an hour just to do the Rumble itself. First, it's for the Divas Championship, a match made this past Monday night on Raw. 2-on-1 handicap matchup. Natalya, the champion, tries to defend her Divas title against the ones she took it from, Lay Cool.
Michelle McCool, Layla, Natalya. It's going to be interesting. Handicap match? I love this girl right here. I think she's fantastic.
More so than Melina's sharpshooter
Wow.
acceptance?
I mean, that right there showed how strong of a sharpshooter she has.
That might be the most DVR'd part of Raw in the male 12 to 17 demographic.
Since Melina's old entrance, absolutely. But, you know, you got to look at the people that are going to draw the money. We're going into WrestleMania.
Uh-huh.
Is the money in Lay Cool chasing Natalya, or Natalya chasing Lay Cool?
I liked what I saw on Raw this past Monday night with Lay Cool stepping it up and bringing it to Natalya. And remember how long it took for that title to actually get to Natalya's waist or
Right.
shoulder, because
Right.
as you say, nobody wears a belt anymore. I enjoyed the other side. Lay Cool, always entertaining, very good on the microphone.
And-
What I didn't like, though, and I had this rant when they did it against Vicky, Michael Cole referring to Natalya as hefty and some weight references by Lay Cool. Natalya's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Natalya's absolutely beautiful. And that's just a little discouraging at times to hear, but I get it. It's wrestling, it's entertainment.
But they are the mean girls.
Or the beautiful people.
Could be. But they're my picks.
Really? You see gold changing hands.
There's going to be a new Divas champion. You know what's interesting about this?
What's interesting about this?
I think there's going to be somebody else coming with them. At one point throughout the match, you either bring out Beth Phoenix, like she's coming down to even the odds to help Natalya, and then Beth screws her.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's Lay Cool and Beth Phoenix, or who knows, maybe Awesome Kong makes an appearance. But
Whatever her name might be.
I think it's gonna take 3 people to beat Natalya, not just the 2 of Lay Cool. That's how I would book it.
We saw this past Monday night on Raw, Gail Kim take seemingly a step forward, a step up in the ranks of the Divas.
Mm-hmm.
What happens to a Natalya if she does, as you would book it, lose the Divas Championship?
Well, she's so popular as a babyface, I could see her chasing them to WrestleMania.
Huh, rematch there?
Rematch there. Mm-hmm.
I like that. You mean to tell me you don't think there'll be a Divas Championship Elimination Chamber matchup in February?
I highly doubt that.
From a fan's perspective, I am more interested in Lay Cool wanting the title and chasing after Natalya.
But when does a heel really chase a babyface?
That's why I like it. I want to see something different, something new, something not done
You sound like the
recently.
Kaz right now. You're making me nervous.
I didn't say temperature check.
Well, no, that's uncomfortable. But yeah, if you want, so you're going with Natalya?
I just simply said what I like to see.
Uh-huh.
I see your point to Lay Cool winning to make more of the match that may happen at WrestleMania, especially if Natalya is able to regain the Divas Championship at that big event.
Think about it. She has steamrolled everybody. She's beaten them all.
So what's next, if not this?
Exactly. Well, you know, LayCool needs to leave as the Divas champion. And I'm not the world's biggest LayCool fan either, but I think to do business the right way, absolutely, LayCool.
All right, well, one of two championship matchups. We listed them in the order of importance, obviously, as the World Championship will be on the line. Dolph Ziggler main eventing the Royal Rumble, going after Edge's World Heavyweight Championship. David Hero last Friday on SmackDown, Dolph Ziggler standing tall. This past Monday on Raw, Dolph Ziggler getting the one-up on Edge. What are we going to see come Sunday at the Royal Rumble?
See, this is interesting how they did this, because they had Dolph Ziggler lose the IC title to Kofi Kingston.
And the same night become the number one contender.
Right. Normally when they take the belt off somebody, it's because they're going to put a new one on him. Now, if he was still the IC champ going into this match, I would definitely say Edge, because they're not going to have him hold both titles. I would not be surprised to see Dolph Ziggler
Really?
leave the Rumble with his sweet girlfriend Vicky as the new World Heavyweight Champion.
Do they have 10 minutes of time on SmackDown that following week for the heat that would be generated by that move?
That's why they got to do it.
Cleaning up at Elimination Chamber, going to WrestleMania with somebody stronger?
Yes.
I'm liking what you're cooking.
I
smell it, too.
I like Dolph Ziggler leaving there, because how great would it be? I mean, Vicky needs
to accomplish something.
Something. And
Edge is relatively unimportant nowadays. Oh, wait a minute, ladies and gentlemen. The DHHS moment of the night.
that's the one I
You're
like.
DHHS in this.
I like it that
Dolph
much.
Ziggler will become the new World Heavyweight Champion.
Yes.
A short-term champion leading through the Elimination Chamber into WrestleMania.
Exactly.
Some intrigue on SmackDown, which ratings are seeing numbers it hasn't seen in a long time. Interest in that
doesn't
program.
do any good. It doesn't help the program at all.
So I'm liking this a lot, by the way. Where does Ziggler go next? What do we see for the next month? Is he
Well-
still staying in a program with Edge, or does the SmackDown side of things become the core and Ziggler and Edge in an Elimination Chamber in February?
Well, let's not forget Del Rio. He could be in the chamber match.
He could.
Rey Mysterio.
Who?
Yeah, you know.
Oh, yeah, he's still right.
Yeah. I mean, they have what, 6 guys in the chamber?
Yes.
So you got Dolph, Edge, Del Rio, Barrett, Big Show. You got to figure will be tossed in there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not sure he'll be tossed anyway.
Well, and Kane or Ray Ray. You know.
Dolph Ziggler, World Heavyweight Champion. Nikki, the World Heavyweight Champion.
Kerwin White's
Hi,
Patty.
I'm Dolph Ziggler, the World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, I can see it.
I have always been a fan of Dolph Ziggler.
Vicky is the reason.
She's the key?
Absolutely.
God, I can hear it now. Dude, that is a SmackDown I actually cannot wait to see if it were to happen that way. Excuse me. And you literally, David Hero, no less than 10 minutes of just disgust heat on these two, which is what makes it worth it. And this guy, he's golden. As I said, his significance is somewhat diminished.
He does not need this to be over.
Is he a placeholder champion? Meaning, if he doesn't need it, is he the comfortable choice? You had to get out of that Kane thing.
Yes.
You had to move on.
Yes.
Now you got this Ziggler thing. Was that why?
If Edge is smart and he wants to do business to create more stars from the feud with on SmackDown, he's in favor of this move.
Now, if Ziggler were to win the World Heavyweight Championship this Sunday at the Royal Rumble, is this match clean? Is it a 1-2-3 pin, zigzag,
Oh,
and out?
not. Of course
Who gets
not.
involved?
Vicky.
She can't do much.
She can do
But she can do a
enough.
five-star
You know
frog
what?
splash.
Who knows what else she has up her sleeve?
Has she been aligning with anyone lately on Smacky Wacky?
She could be. Maybe the Nexus is involved.
Maybe this is where we see the enforcer. If Beth Phoenix here, maybe Kong here.
Oh, Kong's not going to beat Edge.
Not beat Edge, but the shock value. Somebody knew who is that? Oh my God!
that I don't like.
Vicky's friend.
That I don't like. I don't like that
Okay.
at all.
What about Kane? Kane might still have an axe to grind. I mean, Edge killed his dad.
He needs to do this on his own and get enough heat that way. Why take all of the heat off of Dolph Ziggler and put it on somebody else. Let him have all the heat. Let him
What a
get
proud
the
moment.
pinfall.
I mean, I'm marking out over this. I'm looking at the TD, Waterhouse, I believe, Center in Boston. And Dolph Ziggler standing tall at the 1 hour mark in the Royal Rumble pay-per-view as the new World Heavyweight Champion.
Right.
You can do it.
They can do it.
It's so easy.
Even for
it's
one
almost
month.
a no-brainer.
Well, you would think.
And as I said, it's almost a no-brainer. With Elimination Chamber being in the middle, and you want to build more intrigue around that World Heavyweight Championship and what's going on SmackDown, this makes perfect sense, even if Ziggler's going to drop it in a month. Because I would imagine both of us agree that Dolph Ziggler is certainly not going into WrestleMania the WWE Champion. I'm sorry, the World Heavyweight Champion.
He could. He could.
But picture it. Atlanta. When we're watching WrestleMania from the suite with 15 of our best fans.
Our super friends.
And other super friends.
Yes.
The Miz, if he were to remain WWE Champion, which he will. Dolph Ziggler, the World Heavyweight Champion. Lay Cool, coming in with Divas belts. Money in the Bank. Undertaker, maybe not as prominent a role. Is this the new youth of WWE taking this WrestleMania and WWE making a huge point with the stars they're presenting?
They
Taking
have
a big
to.
risk,
Yeah,
by the way.
A big one. And a big building.
Absolutely. This is very intriguing. I can't say I walked into this studio today thinking that you would have booked Dolph Ziggler to defeat
Really?
Edge
You thought I was
to
gonna
be the
pick Edge?
champion. I really didn't know it. Edge is a safe bet. This is risky, and you've stamped it.
I stamped
D-double-H-S.
Yes.
I thought maybe it'd be GBHS, but that's neither here nor there. Vicky Guerrero and Dolph Ziggler. Folks, I hope you out there watching realize the significance and the 4-week bump that we could get out of that. I like it a lot. I'm going to pick it as well. I like it a lot. And Dolph Ziggler, I think, is getting out of the bad situation he's been in for the last several years of being severely underrated.
They bring him out on Raw the past couple weeks.
Absolutely.
There's a
Good
reason
point.
for that.
Who else have they brought out on Raw the last couple of weeks?
Alberto Del Rio.
And Ezekiel Jackson. Wow. I'm liking this. I'm liking it a lot. And I hope I like your next pick, because the next match to talk about is for the WWE Championship. Randy Orton, the challenger, goes up against, you forgot something there, the champ, who took the chump and put him in his place this past Monday
Sure
night.
did.
The Miz.
Yeah, I'll put that little thing there for you. Make you feel better.
As much as Dolph has Vicky, the Miz has A-Rai, this match really has a lot more
Whoa,
significance.
Are you saying
Stop. This match has a lot more significance than the World Championship match, title argument excluded.
well, there's
It's
two.
not as easy, I don't think, David Hero, so I'm intrigued to hear
No,
what you're going to do
honest
here.
to God, this is not easy at all, because if this was the last pay-per-view going into WrestleMania, easily I'd take Randy Orton. But
I see
because
that.
The
I see
Miz has done nothing yet, who's he beat? Really? You can't even tell me who he's beaten.
I'm not having this argument.
No, I honest to God, I can't do it. I don't know. I really don't. I mean, let's put it this way. I'm not going to pick a winner. All I'm going to
Oh, you're not getting the chicken dinner?
No. All I'm going to say is he will leave as the champion.
Oh, what? Okay, wait,
It
but
could be a-
look, this
it could
is
be a
be the
DQ.
booker. You are the booker. This is your
And I am.
whiteboard.
And I am.
And
I'm
this
booking
match
him
has to happen.
leave as the champion.
But that means he wins.
No, he could lose by count. He could lose by DQ. He could lose by count out.
How does that make him anything? How does that be or show that
It
person
makes-
he beat?
It makes him more of a coward, and it makes him that much stronger.
You've got other factors here. You've got Cole. You've got King. By the way, people are talking about those two maybe in a match at WrestleMania. I think it's a bit far-fetched because who's going to talk during the match?
Jim Ross.
Nah, they're not going back that way. And you've got A-Rai, as we've talked about as well. You got a lot of outside factors in this matchup. You also might want to wonder who has got issue with Randy Orton and who may have issue with The Miz. Who else may get involved in this matchup? That variable is out there as well.
Nobody else will get involved.
Well, you're saying count out disqualification. A count out, I don't think does any good for anybody. A disqualification for some reason or another is more acceptable,
Okay.
but I want to see The Miz pin Randy Orton
It's not gonna
in
happen.
the middle of the ring.
He's gonna leave as the champion. Okay? I don't care how they get there. I don't care if he beats Randy Orton wins by DQ, by countout, whatever else. He leaves as champion. So now you have two heels. I can't even circle his name, okay? You have two heels that are going into the Elimination Chamber.
Yes.
So that guarantees you can have one heck of a main event at WrestleMania.
But the Elimination Chamber is built more so around a face's adversity that he has to face
No.
in
The
defending the
Elimination
championship.
Chamber is where he can shine.
More so than in this match?
Absolutely. If he leaves the Elimination Chamber as the champion going into WrestleMania, how strong is he then?
After defeating Orton, Cena, Punk.
But see, in a gimmick match like the Chamber, when guys are just beat up
Yeah.
constantly, that's how it happens. He leaves as champion, but he gets the big one at the Elimination Chamber, which then allows him to be so strong going into WrestleMania. So I've already booked the Elimination Chamber where The Miz is going to win that match too.
And then The Miz will subsequently get in that Learjet, Air McMahon, because I'm sure he's flying it now, and head towards Atlanta, Georgia, and walk down that aisle
You're not ecstatic
in the Georgia
that I'm
Dome.
saying he's to leave as the champion?
Walk down that aisle in the Georgia Dome where we'll be watching
Yeah,
as the WWE champion. That is what you were saying, correct?
absolutely.
That feels good. That feels real good. David Hero, I love what you did here. Not real happy with your non-committal behavior here. I will do this as a fan, as a Miz Marquis,
Uh-huh.
as a man who believes. I will select
Of course you
the
will. Why wouldn't
Miz to win via pinfall. 1, 2, 3 in the center of the ring. And walking out of the Royal Rumble strong as a champion. This match right before the Rumble, which makes the Rumble interesting.
you? Hold on. What if this match is before the Rumble?
Well, you got heels winning either way, so
But then what title is bigger?
Royal Rumble is a bit of a unique pay-per-view
Absolutely
situation
is.
as far as match placement goes. But look at what you done did.
I done did.
So this Sunday's WWE Royal Rumble. You have projected that the Divas Championship will go to the heels, lay cool.
Yes.
Natalia losing,
Yes.
going into WrestleMania. You have projected that Dolph Ziggler, the heel, will win the World Heavyweight Championship from Edge, who doesn't need it. As a matter of fact, you've stamped that with the DWHS.
DWHS.
The WWE Championship will go to yet another heel, a bad guy, The Miz, who will retain his title strong through WrestleMania, somehow or another, in your opinion, my opinion, pinfall, defeating Randy Orton. Randy Orton in this scenario continues to fall.
That's why he'll just leave as champion, not get pinned. Randy gets screwed, he stays where he is. Still chases The Miz.
But he's got 4 other guys who are also going to be chasing The Miz at the Elimination Chamber.
Absolutely.
Miz v. who at WrestleMania?
It depends who wins the Rumble.
Because clearly they're going to go after the WWE Championship.
Well, of course.
And clearly, I think, I don't want to spoil anything. Things are getting a little obvious as it pertains to the Royal Rumble, in my opinion. Well, those are the title matches this Sunday at the Royal Rumble. David Hero, we're going to take a timeout as we prep the board for the Royal Rumble match itself, which is going to be an interesting match to try to
40.
book. We're going to look at the scenarios that may play out, the players in the game, and the one man who will walk out of Boston and walk into Atlanta with a #1 contender spot and a chance at the championship of their choosing. We'll be right back.
The biggest wrestling event of the year, the Georgia Dome, Atlanta, Georgia. The Pro Wrestling Report's bringing you the ultimate fan experience. It's the Pro Wrestling Report Sweet and Sexy Ticket Package. Join the Pro Wrestling Report broadcast team in an exclusive suite at the Georgia Dome for WrestleMania 27. These ticket packages are exclusive and not available anywhere else, and they provide you with the ultimate fan experience. Act now, only a few seats left. Order at pwrshow.com. Watch WrestleMania 27 from your very own suite with the Pro Wrestling Report broadcast team. All the details and packages available right now at pwrshow.com. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The Pro Wrestling Report Sweet, Sexy WrestleMania.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Television. It's our Royal Rumble preview. Damian Nelson here along with David Octavius Hero. You look stressed. Could it be these names? 30-plus names on the board here for the largest Royal Rumble in history coming up this Sunday. I want to remind everybody what you done did in the last segment. You have selected new Divas champions in Lay Cool. What are you doing?
Some of these guys don't even have a chance to be booked in this. So let's just get some of them gone.
Really? Just like that?
Yeah.
It's the largest Rumble in history. 40 names!
Yeah, but we only got 10 minutes.
Oh, we have a little more than that. I don't know who's giving you time cues, but... In the meantime, I'll summarize what you did in the last segment. Lay Cool takes the Divas Championship from Natalya. Dolph Ziggler becomes the new World Heavyweight Champion, and The Miz, somehow or another, retains his WWE Championship. That's what was already talked about here in Be the Booker Now of David Hero. The match that the pay-per-view is titled after. A man will win a chance to go to WrestleMania. William Regal, too? You're racing him?
I don't see it.
A man will win a chance to go to WrestleMania and main event for either the WWE or the World Championship, assuming they get through the Elimination Chamber in February. The names left on this list: John Cena, King Sheamus, Alberto Del Rio, CM Punk, John Morrison, The Big Show, Wade Barrett, Rey Mysterio, David Otunga, Husky Harris, Michael McGillicuddy, Daniel Bryan Danielson, D.H. Smith being erased,
Don't see it.
Tyson Kidd, Justin Gabriel, Frank's next big thing of 2011, Big Zeke, Mason Ryan, Jack Swagger, Heath Slater, Santino Marella, Vladimir,
Nah, don't see that either.
and Kane. So, David Hero, of these names that remain, the real players in the Rumble, if you will, several things can develop. What we need to identify and make sure everybody knows, let me grab this for a minute because it's important that we have the appropriate affiliations listed, because I think that's important. I got my little orange and yellow markers. Let's mark out for Nexus, new Nexus. CM Punk,
Okay.
Husky Harris,
Perfect Junior.
Perfect Jr.,
Otunga.
David Otunga, and Mason Ryan.
Ryan.
Let's mark out the core in orange. Of course, led by Wade Barrett over on SmackDown. Also joined by Big Zeke, Ezekiel Jackson,
Just square all of them here.
Heath Slater, Justin Gabriel, and
That's it.
that is their group. Feels like somebody's missing. Somebody's totally missing.
No. It's 4 to 5.
All right. So, clears things up a little, I hope, as far as some of the affiliations that may be going on there. Obviously, we heard what happened on Raw this past Monday night. CM Punk making some demands of the new Nexus. John Cena certainly wants his hands on not only CM Punk, but any member of the new Nexus. As a matter of fact, you got to imagine he still wants to get his hands on Wade Barrett. You've got King Sheamus and John Morrison. That whole situation going on there. Daniel Bryan Danielson. Depends on whether or not the Bellas are going to be allowed at ringside with them, but the United States champion. Kofi Kingston, I thought was still on this list.
Oh, I took him off.
Not a challenger either.
Not at all.
Jack Swagger,
Former world champion, Money in the Bank winner.
Rey Mysterio,
He's a legend.
Alberto Del Rio,
He's the man.
Kane, So much can develop, David Hero. I'm going to shut up now for a moment so we can talk about the first development that we expect to see coming out of the Rumble this Sunday night. Not necessarily in order, but the purpose of the Rumble matchup at times, ladies and gentlemen, is to set up your next big show, WrestleMania. And coming out of the Rumble, we should successfully see some new stories develop. We should successfully see some new rivalries created. We should successfully see some good rivalries continue, as we've somewhat discussed. Now, there's a lot of variables in this Rumble, and I assume we'll get to those later as well, because we expect to see some surprises, if not returns as well.
Absolutely. This Rumble is going to be used to showcase certain guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Such as?
Morrison is going to look like a star. I think he'll look great. He's not going to win.
I see him riding the ropes all night. And just, he's that guy that is eliminated, but never eliminated until that final chance where he gets himself eliminated.
I think DVD is going to be a guy that's going to be in the ring for quite a while, eventually eliminated. But if they're smart, here's how I would do this.
It's a challenge.
Nexus and the Core, with the exception of Barrett and Punk, none of those guys have any heat with each other, right? They're still kind of buddies.
How did Gabriel and Slater end up on SmackDown?
Because they wouldn't beat each other with kendo sticks.
So maybe they got a little bit of heat with Punk?
The only ones
But they're happy to still be with Barrett.
The only ones that have heat are those two guys. I can see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Nexus members, or
Nexus
Core,
and Core,
yeah,
2 R's.
all working together
Together against
against
each other.
everybody. No,
Really?
all 7 together as a unit because they're all
Interesting.
friends.
Yeah.
And what they're doing,
They've got what you call history.
exactly. And what they do is they protect Punk and Barrett throughout the whole Rumble. So pretty much Nexus is, if I'm booking this, Nexus runs the Rumble. Okay?
For a good portion of it.
For the whole portion.
Really?
I wouldn't be surprised if Punk and even Barrett come out 1 and 2. And they start and they beat the hell out of each other. And then eventually, some baby faces come in. Eventually they're going to work together with the rest of their team. Superman over here, at one point, it'll be him with maybe 3 or 4 of Nexus at one time.
Him alone
Him alone.
in the ring with
Yes.
just Nexus and Core.
But he's going to be just eliminating all of them throughout the night. Okay? So all of a sudden, let's just, and you know what? With no disrespect to Del Rio, who's a star, he's not going to win. Ray's not going
Hold
to
on. That's a retraction, sir.
Retraction.
You've been saying for weeks that he was clear.
Well, he's a favorite. I never said he was going to win. I said I like him. He's a favorite. He should win. But
That's why he took the scarf off.
just hear me out. I think this could make it interesting. Okay?
Why don't you want to make it interesting?
Yes. So, here's what's going to happen.
Lay it on me.
As John Cena is
Who's a player, obviously.
who's going to be the final 3 will be Cena, Barrett, and Punk.
Really?
It could even be throw on Husky. It could be 3 on Cena.
Here's the thing about Husky, though. Husky's a big boy.
Well, then he comes in at 37.
Husky's got some play. And you took Big Show off of here as well?
He's not going to be there.
I thought he'd be a... Oh, there he is.
He's
He's still
there.
there, sorry.
But listen, maybe it's going to be Cena against Otunga, Barrett, Punk, and let's say Mason Ryan. And number 40 hits.
You
Wouldn't it
agree,
be
man?
amazing if this is number 40 and then comes in and helps John Cena eliminate the Nexus?
Then levels Cena and wins it.
He could. Or maybe they eliminate each other, a la
94?
94, and then it would be Triple H and John Cena against The Miz.
I don't like that 3-way talk.
Why not? They've had successful 3-way matches before.
They have, I just don't like it. All right, so you're playing out a scenario where it's essentially Nexus, old school Nexus, including Punk now, against Cena, who will dominate most of the group until being interrupted by the return of Triple H. Chaos ensues. Who's Triple H with? What's he going to do? He immediately starts helping
No.
get rid of Nexus.
He's coming back as a babyface because he's got a movie coming out February 18th.
The chaperone,
the chaperone.
where he's a school bus driver.
So what better way to bring back the movie star than number 40 and help John Cena eliminate Nexus?
Does it make a little more sense to not necessarily go 4-0 with Triple H, but maybe somewhere in the 30s? So he's in the mix.
No.
And as this story develops that you've laid out,
He comes to save John Cena. No one's going to expect him to be there. All of a sudden, 40 out, time to play the game, the music blares, crowd goes nuts.
because at 40 you could still have 10, 15 competitors in the ring. You could.
You could. I'm willing to, but to make it interesting, have Punk, Barrett, Big Zeke, and Mason Ryan. So that way the two biggest guys are in there with the two leaders. And then Cena and Triple H work together as a unit. And then with John Cena ultimately winning the Royal Rumble. Because let's not forget, this guy, Sheamus could be in the end also. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Sheamus and the Nexus.
There is
And then
big-time unfinished business here.
Triple H and Sheamus eliminate themselves, which then lets John Cena beat Barrett and Punk.
Sheamus doesn't only have to worry about a potentially returning Triple H, he's also got to worry about John Morrison.
I think that ship is passed. Because he's not going to be wrestling him at WrestleMania. It's going to be Hunter and King Sheamus.
Do we, in this Rumble that you are saying will be driven around
Nexus.
the groups
Core
Nexus and Core, John Cena, Triple H, do we have that moment where there's two men in the ring, aside from number 1 and 2? Ring clears out. In a couple of Rumbles, we've had that, where it's two guys,
I
one
doubt
guy
it
waiting,
because if
his arch rival
if
comes
these guys
out.
come out 1 and 2, it'll always be them by themselves, 1 and 2.
Big time unfinished business with Alberto Del Rio and Rey Mysterio.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean anything in this match anymore.
But what scenario plays out? Is it the same as maybe what might happen with Sheamus and Triple H? So much heat, so much animosity there. It's a double elimination. Man's distracted.
Could
Rey
be.
Mysterio could be fun to watch in this matchup. Rey Mysterio will be fun to watch in this matchup. I'm intrigued by what Tyson Kidd can do in this matchup. There's no chance he's going to win
Of
it,
course not.
but I'm intrigued by what he can do.
Take him off there.
Kane's still in this match. Now, I think you prematurely eliminated the Big Show
No, I
here.
did not, because Nexus will eliminate him. I can see Big
They will
Zeke
stand as
eliminating
one?
him. Absolutely. Strength in numbers, amigo.
The unspoken
I love
hero,
Jack
if you
Swagger,
will.
but that's not going to happen either. He'll be in there
What's
for
he
a
going to
little
do?
bit.
Just be there?
He'll be there. Telling you, it's John Cena, Triple H, King Sheamus, the Nexus.
You
That's
got
where
to
all
have...
the money is. That's where all the money's
But-
been invested.
I don't doubt that, and I don't like... Well, Cena versus Miz could be fun.
It's the only match they can do for WrestleMania, is those two.
You're saying it's these two at Mania then?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So you're developing a situation where the Elimination Chamber on the Raw side, boom, 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 Miz. You need one more, who cares who it is?
Punk.
Yeah, there you go. Dude, that makes perfect sense.
That's why, be the booker.
Makes perfect sense. Now, how do you have this guy come back? With all the steam he will have behind him if he does, Triple H.
Yeah.
The man who came back and won Rumbles
As much
before.
as they love him, they hate this guy.
I just don't see how you don't have him win.
He doesn't have to win. Him against The Miz is a nightmare for you.
But you've got to have, you've got to have a complete crazy
Listen,
scenario
hold on,
at the end of the
listen,
Rumble
listen.
for him not to win.
Listen, he goes after Sheamus. Clothesline him. They both go over the top rope together. They're both eliminated.
And that's the joy of the Rumble. 2 minutes later, you're probably going to forget about that because something else can happen. Something else can develop. Now, we talk about surprises and returns, and you've talked about Triple H. What else is out there? There's The Undertaker looming.
No, not the Rumble. He's not going to take the chance of getting hurt going over the top rope.
Who's The Undertaker got business with? Who took him out?
Kane and Nexus.
And Kane's the man without any ink around him.
Well, yeah, there's nothing to do with it.
Kane comes in, Bogart's in the Rumble at some random point. Undertaker comes out.
Not at all. Not at all.
The players left on this, well, we haven't talked about Daniel Bryan Danielson. He's just there?
He's just there.
The players left on
40
this
guys,
board.
they're all just there except for like 7.
Well, I can't believe he took Yoshitatsu off the list so
He
quickly.
was the first guy gone.
John Cena, King Sheamus, Alberto Del Rio, CM Punk, Rey Mysterio, John Morrison, Daniel Bryan Danielson, Jack Swagger, Triple H, Sheamus if I didn't say him already, and then Nexus and the Core.
Yeah.
When you talk about those names, Swagger's a bit of a stretch. These are the people WWE has been focused on lately.
A lot of money invested in them.
They've got to build WrestleMania. Because right now, there isn't much of a card at
The only
WrestleMania.
way they build WrestleMania is with this guy.
And this guy, I would say, Triple H. And this guy, Alberto Del Rio.
Right, but he is the breadwinner.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You know what would be fun? Morrison Danielson.
At WrestleMania?
Well, they got to build Money in the Bank, so I assume they're going to throw into that.
Right.
But this will be fun to watch those two mix it up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they can't really do much with however many other guys are going to be in the ring. I'm very interested that you really gave no play here to Ray 619.
Not at all. He's just the kid's favorite. That's it.
John Cena wins the 2011 WWE
And it's
Royal
not
Rumble,
that, you
his
know, that's
second
what
or
I-
third win.
It's not that I really want that to happen, but
That's what makes sense.
it's what makes sense. I'd rather have Del Rio win, but you can't put him in the main event at WrestleMania yet. He's not. Nobody knows who. Mainstream does not know who he is yet.
Good point. But the Elimination Chamber, everything can change.
It can. The champion can change, not the one who wins the Rumble.
John Cena or Triple H winning makes this all great. Late Cool, Ziggler, Miz, because no one's going to remember.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it a hot-assed Royal Rumble.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really does.
If it goes this way.
David Hero, I mean, I don't see, if you look at long-term
But think
planning,
about
I
it.
don't see any other
Nexus and
scenario.
Core can work together, except for these.
That's
two.
the part I'm a little
They're going to be forced
shaky
to work
on.
together because if it's them and Cena at the end, of course they're not going to. They're going to want to work together combined to get rid of John Cena.
But here's what Barrett has said. The Core is not a team. They have no leader.
Mm-hmm.
They're individuals. CM Punk has made it crystal clear that his team, the new Nexus, needs to help him
Okay.
win.
But the fact of the matter is, he's still the leader. He's
Sure.
still the talker. He's the headpiece.
Who's that person with 8 to 12 eliminations this year? Who's that person who
Sheamus.
dominates?
Sheamus.
Really? To get
To
some
be eliminated by Triple H,
right after, immediately following.
pretty much.
Will there be one man at any point in this Rumble aside from at the end who will stand alone?
No, not at all.
Because you got 40 guys in it.
Absolutely.
So what's great about the Rumble? Anything can happen.
And it normally does.
Now there are so many variables. Will Triple H actually return? Because that sort of puts a wrench in your
I mean,
plans.
a lot of this depends on Triple H. But
Isn't it? I mean, couldn't you put some good money on Triple H coming back at the
You
Rumble?
would think so.
Or being involved in some way, shape, or
Somehow,
form and
yeah.
be safe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, his ego wouldn't let him come back at Elimination Chamber or on Raw.
This is the chance. That is the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It is the time. All right.
It works for me.
Thank you, Mr. Hunter, Sergeant Hunter. This Sunday, starting at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, the Pro Wrestling Report is going to be live on Blog Talk Radio with the Stream, David Hero, a new show.
Yes.
We're going to be live during the
It's called The
pay-per-view.
Stream?
It's called The Stream. During the pay-per-view on Blog Talk Radio, we're going to be taking your phone calls, your comments via Twitter, Facebook, and, of course, in the chat room at Blog Talk Radio. Live during the pay-per-view. During the entire Rumble matchup, we'll be calling it as it happens and seeing if this scenario plays out. And then we roll right into the post-show where we're going to be having more interactions with you and completely reviewing the 2011 WWE Royal Rumble. So be sure to tune into that on Blog Talk Radio and PWRshow.com. Now, in summary, David Hero has booked the 2011 Royal Rumble as follows. Lay Cool, Divas Champion. Dolph Ziggler, the new World Heavyweight Champion on a short-term basis. Maybe going into WrestleMania, though.
Absolutely.
The Miz retains the WWE Championship in some way, shape, form, and goes into WrestleMania against the man who David Hero has projected will be the winner of the 2011 WWE Royal Rumble. That man is John Cena. It's going to be a fun pay-per-view. It's going to be one you certainly want to tune into, and those of you watching us here on television in Milwaukee, you want to join us at Bromines for the pay-per-view viewing party. And the rest of you on Blog Talk Radio starting at 8:30 p.m. Join us live, where we'll be doing it live. I am, as many times after doing this segment for WWE pay-per-views, a lot more intrigued by what might happen Sunday night.
I think this could be very interesting. It's the road to WrestleMania. It starts on Sunday.
They got a lot of work to do on that road.
Mhm.
Got to, work on an infrastructure.
This was a good start.
Well, this was a tough one. This was a tough one.
EPO, by the way.
We'll see you Sunday night for the stream on Blog Talk Radio, and Monday. Shane Helms on ESPN Radio is going to be our
Hurricane
guest.
Helms.
He's our scheduled guest to address the situation between him and Shawn Michaels. Lots of conversation about that as of late. If you haven't already, make sure to order your sweet and sexy package for WrestleMania 27. Available right now on PWRshow.com. I believe we only have
Only a couple
a
left.
few spots left for that. So thank you very much for those of you who have ordered already. And also thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Television. We'll see you Sunday for the stream and Monday on ESPN Radio.